Hey everyone, welcome to Pipes, Tobacco, and Whiskey. So we're back at the Dearleys
It's like we were just here.
with the same clothes and everything.
Did we plan this?
Hey everyone, welcome back to Pipes, Tobacco, and Whiskey.
Oh my gosh. We've been out in the sun too long.
I tell you what.
And we are doing a comparison today. Last week we did the Solani Aged Burley Flake, and that is a super popular one in the smoking community. And this other Burley Flake that is popular is what we're going to talk about today, and it's McBaren's HH Burley Flake. Now, McBaren's super popular company. You can get McBaren products almost everywhere. This is blended by Per Jensen and or Per Jensen. And it is a Burley based. It's got Burley, Kentuckies, and Virginia. So the Solani did not have Virginias in it.
Ooh.
This one does. So that's the biggest difference. No toppings on it. It comes in flake. You can get this in 50 gram, 100 gram, and a pound from different places. It is available. So the strength on this one is medium. No flavorings detected on this. The taste is medium. Room note, we'll talk about that as we go along. But let's kind of jump in on this one. So let's talk about the tin note.
Yeah.
First thing I noticed about this one compared to that one is that there really is no comparison. They're two opposite
Yes.
kind of scents there. You know, it's interesting that Burleys that basically contain the same type of tobacco can be so different. But what do you get out of that one?
So, in comparison to the one that we did last week, this one, the tin note, there's a little more of a smoky, kind of earthy something or other in there. I don't know if it's the Virginias that are coming through a little bit more because this one has Virginias present. But it's not as, it's still dark, there's still like a dark fruit smell, but there's just a little bit of something else in there that's more earthy and smoky, and I like that. I like that in the tobacco.
Yeah. If I could get something like a candle that smells like this, I'd be a happy man. That's beautiful. Well, even Tom when he opened the Solani, he smelled it. He said, "Okay, yeah, wow, that's dark fruit, and there's something else, and I can't pick it out yet." And I was like, "Well, here, smell this one." And he's like, "Okay, now this is dark fruits."
Yeah.
He's like, "I get it in the other one. I get it in the Solani Aged Burley Flake, but it's so much more powerful."
This is a fuller
forward.
tin note.
Yeah.
Definitely a fuller tin note. The nuttiness and the dark fruit and even some of the grassiness comes out stronger than what was in the Solani. Little earthiness, little woodiness in there.
Well, you know, we talked about the Solani being pretty neutral.
I get a molasses out of that pretty good.
We talked about it being a nice neutral. That one, same tobaccos, totally different profile. It's really, it's a much more present tobacco, I'd say. There's a lot more going on. And the molasses that you just mentioned, that
It's that sweetness on the back end.
just right at the end, like, because at forefront, right there at the front of the nose, it's really kind of dark fruit, and then but there's just a little like that. Like I said, there's that something extra, smoky kind of sweetness.
I think that might be from the Kentucky.
Man,
Or whatever types of Kentucky they're using, you know. But that's what sets it apart from the Solani a little bit. That is, and it says flake, but is that the way you got it? That's more of a
Basically,
broken flake.
It was practically a broken flake.
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, it came pretty close to a flake, and then as you picked it up, it's just, it's like good barbecue. It's like, yeah, that's a rib, and you pick up the actual bone, and it falls off.
Right
That's what this is.
I get a little spice hit off of it. Like an allspice in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that grassy and molasses is kind of sitting in the background just enough to kind of perk your interest, you know? Yeah, this is more dark fruit and more robust than the Solani. Different. Not better, not worse, but different. Definitely different.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, let's talk about the taste a little bit. What are you guys getting off the taste?
You want to go first?
Yeah. If Solani was mellow and more of the natural grassy taste, this is complex. This has some flavors that'll come in and out. You've got some of that smokiness. You've got that sweetness. And then you've got a lot of that dark fruit that still comes through on the palate, at least to me.
I'm getting a kind of a spice.
That's what I'm
That's
a little
it.
zing.
Yeah.
It's got that McBaren zing to it.
Yeah,
Really?
A little English on it.
The
curve
McBaren
on
tobaccos, for some reason, all of them have kind of a to it.
There's
You know,
just
I've
something
talked
to it,
about that
yeah.
before. As a matter of fact, in my home blend that I do, that long bottom leaf, I was using the McBaren vanilla cream for a while, and it had too much of a zip to it, so I took that out and put some Peter Stokeby sweet vanilla in it, and it took the zing totally out of it.
Yeah.
So the McBaren, there's something about their process that gives, or whatever they add or whatever, a little zing. It's not offensive.
No.
It's there, though.
Yeah.
You have to be aware that it's there.
I noticed it. I think it was early on, and whenever I first started smoking a pipe, Nathan turned me on to Virginia Gentleman, which is a really good Virginia. And I was on Smoking Pipes, and I saw that McBaren was on sale, and it was the McBaren Virginia. I was like, oh, it's got to be really similar. But no, all of their stuff just has just a little bit of just zing to it. Even the Virginias, everything just has, like, I don't know what they do, but you're absolutely right. There's just a little bit of something on the end of it.
This
Really
has
nice.
this has a deeper flavor profile than the Solani did. This is a slight heavier smoke. The sweet, tangy, ripe, dark fruit is coming through more. I get a little citrus hit in there, which might be some of the zing that I'm getting. The biggest part of this is definitely the Burley, but then I think the second is the Virginias, and I think that I'm tasting red Virginia in here.
I'd agree. With it being that dark, like fruit and flavor, I would venture to guess that that's more of what it is.
Yeah. It's the red Virginia. Does it specify whether it's a red Virginia or a bright Virginia, or is
It's got a mixture of Virginias in
a
it.
mixture of both? Yeah.
Yeah, some dark Virginias. I think it did say it had some red Virginias. Take a puff of this nice and slow. Hold it in your mouth for a second or two. There's a maltiness to this.
Yep.
Almost like you would in a dark beer
Yes.
or an amber beer.
Yeah. It's I'm telling you, it's all part of that complexity that I love about this blend.
This is one that you brought.
This is one that I brought, and I think that while it is complex, and usually like you keep those complex blends for like your contemplative smokes when you're not doing anything, this smokes so easy for me. You can smoke it while driving and still enjoy the flavors. You can smoke it while playing cornhole, and it would still be just as enjoyable as sitting here and like trying to pick out every individual flavor.
Nice. So an all-day smoke for you.
To me, this is smoking a little hotter than the Burley, the Solani was. And I think that might be to the addition of the Virginias in there, just a little bit hotter. But the flavors are really good. Really, really good. This smokes very similar to a vapor.
Probably why I like it.
Very similar to a vapor.
Yeah.
Heavy.
It almost has a perique kind of feel to it in there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. There's some sweetness in there. There's some breadiness in there, which is leaning towards the maltiness, I think. Of course, there's some spice in here. A woody, earthy kind of hint to it as well. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good. Totally different than the other Burley.
Totally.
I don't see how we can compare them, but we're going to have to at the end. But
We have to. We agreed.
yeah, we're going to have to compare them. But
Damn, dude. Seriously, this is a really good smoke. Good choice.
I
interesting.
warned you. It's
Nice.
dangerous.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I like the light citrus taste that I'm getting through there. It's not like a lemon or a lime. It's
a lemon.
A lime.
almost like a blood orange.
Yeah, it's like a
Okay.
weird in between. Oh man,
It's almost like a blood orange in there. Interesting. Cool. Okay, so let's go on. Let's talk about the moisture content. What are you thinking about? Funny
let me
thing.
get on this.
Funny thing is that Ryan had this sitting out here for what, 30 minutes,
30
Ryan?
minutes,
Roughly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it had moisture.
And it started sweating.
Yeah, yeah.
And before I opened it, I shook it up to get all that moisture back onto that tobacco, and just said, I know that it's a good moisture level anyways. And so when we put it in the bowl, we really didn't even let it dry.
Man,
we loaded up pipes.
It's ready to smoke. This is
Yeah.
a great moisture level. It's
It's
right. in
it's
between.
moist.
Yeah.
It's definitely moist, and that's consistent with flakes. But I would like to try it with some dryness to it.
with some dryness.
Okay.
Yeah, and see what changes about the flavor profile. Maybe if that zing goes away,
Right.
you know.
be.
But yeah, it is, to me, it is a little moist. But you're right. I think you can smoke it as is,
Ready to go.
just straight out of the tin.
My question to you, Ryan, is how long have you had this in the mason jar versus how when you bought it and all that kind of stuff? Like how long have you had?
Now
this?
that is a good consideration
Yeah.
because we just cracked that tin open.
Right.
That is
right.
On the other
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
And
and
this one, how long has it been sitting?
A year.
Okay, so this is
So
pretty aged.
To be fair,
Yeah.
but if memory serves correctly, it has always tasted like this.
Okay.
Hadn't changed much, is
fresh.
what you're
It,
saying.
it hasn't changed much at all.
And you've kept it in a mason jar for the most part, so it's pretty much kept its moisture kind of
Yeah.
around it. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Something to think about.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the nicotine on this? Compared to the Solani, do you think it is stronger or weaker?
Compared to Solani, honestly, I would say weaker. That's Solani. Just all of that Burley together. Burley, if I remember correctly, tends to have a higher nicotine content to it.
Than Virginia's. Kentucky usually has a pretty good kick to it. A lot of Kentuckys are from Burley's anyway. So it's the Kentucky is just how they process
Okay.
the tobacco. You can make a Kentucky from Burley or Virginia, but most of them are Burleys.
Okay.
Most of them are Burleys. So, yeah, and you think it's less too?
Anyways, it's hard to say whether it's a stronger or a weaker or what it is. I mean, it's like my third pipe of the day or something like that. So I'd say it's
This is like my fifth.
yeah. It's hard to say, but compared to the Solani, I would say that I'm kind of with you. It's a little bit more mellow.
Yeah.
As for the nick hit, just for the nick hit,
Yeah.
flavors are a little bit different, but for the nick hit, a little bit more mellow. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you. At first, when I first lit it up, I thought, hey, this is
I'm just gonna kick you in
more
the butt.
potent
Yeah.
than the Solani. But now that I smoke it, the potency comes from the flavors, not from the nicotine
Right,
content.
right.
So yeah, I'm gonna say probably less nicotine, maybe moderate. The other we compared to Solani was moderate to medium. So this one's right at the moderate level. It doesn't feel like it's gonna be too strong. Interesting. Okay, well, of course this is a McBaren product, so it's made in Denmark. There's no bite to it, no rough edges to it. It's really pretty good. Breaks apart pretty easy.
Yep.
It burns fairly slow, cool. At one point, I thought it was burning hotter than the Solani. Now I'm going to say it's about the same, but I think I've slowed down a little bit too. The consistency of this is pretty good. I mean, I'm getting the same flavors from top to bottom. I'm halfway through it right now, and it's pretty consistent all the way through. The aftertaste on this is pretty delightful. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. There's some dampness in the bowl simply because of the moisture content. I had to do some relights. You think this can be an all-day smoke?
For me, 100%. I don't know about.
Then again, this is probably one that you really, really enjoy. You've kind of been sitting, you've had
Yeah.
it for a while. This being my first experience to it, I would probably put this towards the end of the day, But I could see that if it's one that you rolled into your cadence pretty regular, I could see how it would be an all-day smoke because the flavors are out of this world. They're really, really good. It's really good flavor, so I could see how somebody would definitely get into this.
I find the Solani to be more of an all-day smoke just because of its neutrality.
Yes. Yeah.
This one's a little more robust.
Yeah.
That I probably wouldn't smoke it all day, every day. I would alternate this one or at least for my tastes. All right. Well,
what are you smoking out of? What is that?
This is my new pipe that I got ordered from the Czech Republic from a carver named Pavel Holub, and his pipes are called Ecclesias pipes.
Yes.
Huh.
And I'm going to do an episode. I'll talk about it later. The downside was how long I had to wait for it, but then again, it was during Christmas time.
Sure.
So I'm gonna kind of give that some of that to that. As soon as it came in the United States, 2 or 3 days later, it was in my house.
Wow. There you go.
So the long part was getting it from the Czech Republic
Well,
to New York.
Shipping right now is kind of crazy. So.
What do you guys think about the room note on this one? You're smelling your pipe. You smell ash.
No.
Ash.
Yeah.
It's we always say this whenever we're out at the deer lease. It's hard to pick up, whenever you're outside smoking. But I would probably put this as tolerable. If you're a non-pipe smoker, then again, I'm a pipe smoker, so I might be wrong on this. But I like smelling, the kind of citrusy kind of notes that are in it. So I mean, it's a tolerable room note for me personally. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy it.
Well, it's difficult to tell out in the open air like this. Yeah. I would imagine that you're going to get more of the dark fruit room notes on this one than you would on the Solani.
Yes. Yeah. If I've smoked this in my car, get to work, work a full 8 hours, and I come back out into the car, open the door, it smells just like the tobacco tastes. Like there's not much different smell to the taste whatsoever.
I'm really intrigued about how this is so similar to a vapor. It really, really does taste like a vapor, especially those vapors that have that dark fruit perique taste to it. It's really, really close. So you guys that are vapor smokers and you want to try something that's kind of in that same realm that has burley in it,
Right.
This is a great one to go with.
Yeah,
I'd say so. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
That's super awesome.
All right, so this normal price on this is about $12.50. Same thing for a 50-gram tin.
Okay.
So it breaks down about the same cost as the Solani, so they're about the same price. Does this one come in a square tin on the 50-gram?
Ooh, I don't remember.
Yeah, some of those 50-gram Baren tins are those little square ones.
Yeah.
And that's the only downside, because those square ones are a little tougher to cellar than the round ones. But the 100-gram tin is probably a round one.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. Speaking of cellaring, I don't know which one of these would cellar better. This one's pretty ready to go right now.
There's a lot of flavors already there.
And you said that even after a year, that it's pretty much the same as when you crack it open. Whereas maybe the Solani would have time to mature a little more.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that Solani would, like the Burleys and the Solani, would morph into something else. Something a little more complex, maybe.
Yeah, that'll be a good experiment. Maybe we revisit that in a year. Let me jar it up and revisit it in a year and kind of see what we think. That's interesting. That might be a good experiment. All right, here's the moment of truth. What do you give this one?
I'm not going to let you go first because this is you like this tobacco, so let me go first.
I do.
All right. The Solani was really good. There's a lot of neutrality, like you said. There's a lot of, just kind of it's a really tolerable smoke. This one definitely has some extra flavor, some more kind of complexity to it. It's a little bit more sit and think about it smoke. I like this one better. I like the flavor profile of it. I like what's going on with it. I like the more complex. I like that. It's a little. There's that extra that we talked about in the 10 note. That's always really appealing to me. I think I like this one a little bit better than the Solani.
So what are you going to give it? You gave the Solani a 3.
I did. A 4 seems strong, but a 3.5 seems about where I'm going to go. 3.5. It's not eons better than the Solani, but it is, in my opinion, better than the Solani. So I'll give it a 3.5.
Okay. You want me to go next?
Yeah,
go for it.
No,
Yeah, since this is your tobacco.
Yeah.
All right. They're worlds apart.
They are.
There is, I don't know how we're going to choose one over the other, but they're worlds apart. They're different tobaccos, but this one is equally as good as the Solani. I'm a little skeptical to sit here and say that this is a true Burley-based tobacco.
Just because the way it smokes.
Yeah. The additions of the Virginia make it a completely different blend to me.
Yeah.
So that's going to be difficult. Now, saying that, this is good.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to give it a strong 4.
Nice.
I'm going to give
Right
this
on.
one a strong 4 because it tastes delicious.
Really good.
It's really
Yeah.
delicious.
Oh, yeah. I would have to say, for me, I'm going to reserve my 5.
Okay.
While this is a fantastic smoke, I reach for it all the time. I think there are better tobaccos to me and to my palate, but this is a 4.5.
Nice.
This is pretty much there for me.
How do you compare your favorite is Rougarou, or close to one of your favorites?
Yeah, close to one of my favorites.
How do you compare that to this, or this to that?
Rougarou is very, I don't know. It's very ripe fruits like this. It's got that dark fruity flavor. But I'm a Perique fiend. I love Perique. And so that extra fruitiness that you can get from it, that extra like kick of nicotine, the extra spiciness sometimes, beautiful. That puts it over this, in my opinion.
Okay.
But if I remember correctly, well, no, we hadn't done Rougarou.
We haven't
That's
done
right.
Rougarou.
I've smoked it
Yeah.
on the show, but we didn't review it. That's right. But yeah,
So a
but
4.5.
Rougarou's, yes.
So overall, it's probably close to a 4. A
Yeah.
4. You said a 3.5.
3.5, 4, 4.5.
So a
rounded up
4.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, just by that, we're saying that we picked this one over because the other one got a 3,
Right.
and this one got a 4.
But like you said, I wouldn't. They're different.
They're in different worlds.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare. Apples to oranges.
And I'm going to say it again. To me, this is closer to a vapor than it is a Burley. So Burley people would smoke this and say, that's really
for me.
not a Burley.
Right.
Vapor people would smoke this and say, that's the best damn Burley I've ever tasted, you know?
Fair enough.
And,
Sure enough.
and that's what I think that's where you're going with. Now, situational smoking, this is a late evening smoke for me.
Okay.
Burley, that Solani Aged Burley Flake would be more of an all-day, any time of the day smoke for me.
Okay.
So it's difficult. It's difficult to choose between the two. But I'm going to, as a trio, I'm going to say that we selected this one over the Solani.
Really good tobacco.
But that's
Thank
just
you.
that's just our preferences. You guys need to go out and try them.
Oh, yeah.
And we'd like for you to post underneath the video your comments about the comparison between.
Try them both.
Try them both and give us your thoughts about what you think between the two. I'd be interested in finding out. We're going to start something in February that I'm going to announce a tobacco that we're going to do at the end of the month in February.
Nice.
And that way you guys can go out and purchase that if you want.
Nice.
And then smoke it along with us as you're watching the video and see if you get the same types of things. I think tasting tobaccos is so subjective.
Yeah.
You know, you guys don't know what our palate is like.
Just as vice versa.
Yeah. And so by smoking along and listening to our comments, you might get a sense of where our palate compares to your palate. And then that'll give you a better understanding of where we're coming from, and also of what you like, and if you would like to try something that we're actually smoking here. So
Interactive pipe smoking.
yeah,
I
I think
cool.
that'd be cool. So we're going to
That's
start
very
that,
cool.
and
Good
I'll
idea.
probably announce that at the end of January.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that at the end you have a month to get the tobacco. You should be okay. And I'm going to try to find stuff that's absolutely readily available.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that we're not
one has any
hunting
issues.
it down. Yeah, trying to do that.
No one's staying up until 1 o'clock waiting, refreshing a page.
Oh my goodness! Like what I did with the Kringle Flake.
Hey, I'm no better than you, man.
Oh.
I'm no better than you.
That's ridiculous for us to sit up until midnight, especially when you got to go to work the next day.
That's why there's Turbo 10.
Yeah, but still, that Kringle Flake would have been gone.
Thanks,
you
man.
know?
Thank you, Warren. We appreciate you, man.
All right, so our choice is the HH Burley Flake
Yep.
from McBaren. So anyway, it's just interesting to talk about. Hey guys, send us your comments, send us your suggestions. We thank you very much. Don't forget,
Make all your piping moments count.
there we go.
Nice. Work 'em in.
Have a great week, guys. We'll see you next time. So
Later,
long.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.